the spirit of things. This is Brother Peter coming at you. And before we get underway tonight, I just want to cover a couple things. But we have a couple special guests tonight, Sister Captain Jade and Brother Jaguar. But we'll get to them in just a minute. But I want just to cover, we'll be doing the curriculum we'll be forwarding on come Saturday, and we'll actually be going over pretty much the banking system, because that's a fundamental that is probably pretty imperative and important for everybody to cover. However, just a little problem. I've invited everybody to the class and the curriculum, but they forgot to go pick up their books. So, folks, if you haven't picked up your books yet, it's going to require you to do a little heavy lifting. Actually, it's not a lot of heavy lifting. You just got to click on a button. Matter of fact, for those who came into the freedomreigns.us, if they're on the face page, there's a privatist.me icon, second to the bottom. Please go ahead and click on there now. The curriculum's posted on our face page, but you got to sign in first. So, folks, it's free, and so that you can follow for the next 8 weeks. So you're just not looking out into space. You'll actually have something of substance that you can follow along with. So it will give you a lot more clarity. I've posted these informations. Matter of fact, so when you actually do sign in, it has the curriculum, 8-week curriculum, on the home page, so you don't even have to go look for it. So you can step on in and get the attachments. If you missed the very first week, with the attachments of the birth certificate bond and the birth securitization scam, 14 pages PDF, as well as the call that's taped, then you can go back and collect that, because that will be the repository for all the week's curriculums for the next 8 weeks. So anybody who comes in at week 4, they'll have no problem with going backwards and attaching to all the documents and what was covered, so they can play a little catch up. Anyways, if you're coming through, folks, to www.freedomreigns.us, it's right on our page. We got the home page. It's got all the icons. And second from the bottom, it says privatist.me. If you'll click on that, it will actually open the home page, and you'll have a blue highlighted icon, and then you can click on that, and it's going to let you through the front door. So, folks, I'm not going to believe that. I hope everybody comes to class next week and has their books and pencils for Saturday about the banking system. We're going to go into a deeper level on the curriculum. So, folks, it's not complex. It's actually pretty simple, and that's why I created the bouncing ball. Anyways, enough of that. I have 2 special guests tonight, Brother Jaguar and Sister Jade, and 2 very, very sharp and astute individuals who understand what's going on within the system. So I wanted to bring sort of the nickel tour tonight to everybody. So this is going to be a very, very informal but informative information overview. And do I have Brother Jaguar and Sister Jade on the phone?
Yes.
Yes. Hi,
I
Peter.
am absolutely here.
Very good. Well, hey, you know what? I'm just going to wind you. Go ahead.
I just want to say that last week I missaid something, and it should be the refunding bond for the Agriculture Department in case you do come and claim your estate.
Right.
The insurance policy, the refunding bond that they have, will indemnify the investors in case you come looking for your estate. So that's called a refunding bond. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for giving us clarity. And I got Brother Jaguar. I'm going to let Brother Jaguar wind it up, and we're going to move into a new direction a little bit. It's Tuesday, and Tuesdays, anything goes Tuesday. I like it. And so, folks, we're going to take a little walk down a new deal. They got all your money. If you're looking for your $7 trillion refund, we just might be able to give you some direction of flow in reference to that. And Brother Jaguar is going to share some great information, and I'm just going to sort of sit back and listen, because I'm getting educated too here tonight. So, Brother Jaguar, I'm going to give you the floor, literally, and I want you to sort of give everybody the nickel tour and try and break it down to as easy terms for our audience as possible, if that's all right with you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Brother Peter and Sister Jade, we can definitely stay there.
Very good.
Everybody, I'm called Jaguar. A lot of people call me Jag. And the reason for that is, in my position as principal of a foreign authority state government, by command of the committee, I've been given the post of Judge Absolute General in fact, and my main capacity is to oversee estate management. I know, very complex. But what does that mean to you? What that means to you is that the United States government has over $7 trillion sitting on open books, and it's your money. That's right. Every man, woman, and child in the United States of America has on the books, easy breezy, 1, 2, 3Z, $2,149 on an average per head at 4.5% interest that your state government owes you. The difficulty is your state government isn't really too quick on telling you what form to fill out. So the intention here tonight is to let you know, state by state, just how much you've got coming to you and where does this come into. This comes into play where myself, in capacity as a judge, in capacity as the principal of a foreign authority state government, can, with the assistance of the American populace, go in and ask for those funds for you. So it works like this. The Platinum Party of Employers who Think and Act to Increase Awareness, I know, it's a really long name. Call us Platinum for short. The Platinum government, if we are to achieve 1,020 participants per state, and each participant was to go and ask for one piece of information, an oath or a bond or an insurance underwriter's name or a reinsurance underwriter's name, that will then give us the opportunity to walk into the state government and ask for your money. Now, I'm not working on the chat room here, so I don't have access to that, but if people from different states will identify what states they're in, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through a website called CAFRMAN.com. That's CAFRMAN.com. That's CAFRMAN.com, and this is where today's instruction is going to take us. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it simple. We're just going to take a look at the top numbers and know that number is about you. This is your money. And the professionals at the top level of talent have done all the hard, complex work. So simple economics, you don't have to do that. They've already done it. And our objective here is to provide an intention to show you it's not really that difficult to go and get the money when we partner up and perform allies. So as a registered political party out of British Columbia, Canada, that's registered in the United States of America as a foreign authority state government, we can ask on your behalf for you. And they will have a tendency to listen to us before they'll listen to you. So this is not about being at war. As Peter likes to say, it's share the love. Yes, the Canadians would like to introduce the Americans to share the love value, $7 trillion of surplus funds, and your name is there. So if we go to CAFRMAN, we go to the front page, we will find out that in 2003, that tells us the state governments had over $612 billion of your tax money they're not using. And that's where we get the numbers, $2,149 for every man, woman, and child at 4.5 interest. That's the first set of numbers. And just remember, this multiplies by 4. Your state government owes you $2,149. Your county government owes you $2,149. Your federal government owes you $2,149, and your regional governments owe you $2,149. So that number on that screen can be multiplied by 4. Now let's look at the different states on the side so we can quickly go through the numbers. There's just the idea is to get an idea so your friends, your family, in different areas of the states, you know how much they're worth. Now, Peter and I were already doing this earlier. Just to let you know, the top game player is Alaska at $11,888, Tennessee at $719. So let's look at the spread here. First one on the charts is 2003, Alabama, $9 billion for that year at one level of the books, one level. So, first paragraph, we don't have to see. He makes it easy. It's $9 billion and tells us that's $19.99 per head. Pretty simple. And you know that that number, if you went into this website and read it, will be multiplied by 4. So Alabama, $19.99.
Brother Jaguar, what was the name of that site again? Was that CAFR1, CAFR or CAFR1.com with Walter Burien?
No, this is CAFR Man.
Oh, CAFR Man, CAFRMAN, as in mother, as in okay, CAFR, folks. That's spelled CAF as in Frank RMAN.com, and it'll bring you right into the website where he's getting these numbers from. So if you're not aware of that, that's the breakdown. It's called CAFRMAN.com. Correct, brother?
Absolutely correct. And the one thing I like about this site is he's made it very, very simple. Now, the fellow who put this site together is a man of extreme knowledge. Colonel Gerald Klatt has been trained by everybody in the government at all levels of accounting. When his numbers go up there, this is a guy who knows his numbers. So it's not an average mommy or daddy who put this together. This is a man who's been trained by the Military Comptroller Society. This is a man who's been trained by cost certificate analysis societies. He's a man who's been the top of his class in every accounting profession you can think of in North America. He's like the who's who in the numbers jungle. And if you can acquaint yourself to this website, you will understand that one of the top trained military personnel, this is out of the Air Force, he's out of the Air Force, he's the guy that stepped forward and broke ranks. He's the guy who stepped forward and told everybody about this to support Walter Burien. Everybody knows Walter Burien about the biggest game in town. Well, it's Colonel Gerald Klatt that came up with the numbers and came up with a very simple logistic formula for people to follow. And with that in mind, I'd like to go through this website for each state just so you understand just how significant this information has been sitting on the web for over 10 years. This is a 2003. This is 2013. These numbers are going up. They are not going down. And there's enough people who have heard of this. Now, Peter, as we've had discussion offline, and Jade is well aware of this, I talk to people at this level. And I know that what they talk to us back is they would like us to go to the front lines. They would like us to come up to the front lines and say to you, it's okay, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be angry. They owe you the money. Why don't you work with us and we'll go in and ask on your behalf? That's what we're looking at. So that's what the various levels of government we talk to. The Americans know that they have to release these funds. They have to. They just have to. They're getting too much pressure from around the world. If the Americans would just go out and have their surplus stimulus fund, $7 trillion would have its release from the various treasuries throughout the United States of America. They could accomplish this all in under 90 days if the right pressure is put on them. And so what is the right pressure? The right pressure is to get 1,020 Americans who live in the state. Let's pick Virginia. Let's use that state. If there was 1,020 people in Virginia that decided to participate and become a member, then we can, with that, that's called a sampling. A sampling is just that. It's a sample. But that's what the legislative requirements are at the international level for us to walk into the door on your behalf. We need 1,020 people to come to us and say, hey, we'd like to become a member. We'll go get you one piece of information. Then you will have 1,020 pieces, and we'll split this up between the oaths, between the bonds, between the insurance underwriters, and the reinsurance underwriters. And then we have a grounds that is not only legal, but lawful to go in and talk on your behalf. And what do you need to know at this point to make it work? You need to know how to keep calm and cool and share the love because it's a good day, and ask 4 simple questions. That's all. First question you ask them for is a true and certified copy of their oath. You can do it through email. You can do it through phone. And more than likely, they'll ask you to come on down and pick it up. Or they can mail it to you. Very simple. Most of the states that we've had an opportunity to work with are very easy. In fact, earlier when I was in discussion with Brother Peter, I'm getting texts in from Idaho, and they're breezing through. It's heyday in the field today. Yep, got a gal out in Idaho who's running around. She's collecting judges' oaths. That's the first part of the morning. And that went on top of the incorporation papers, also true and certified. And with that, just walked right over to risk insurance, and they just are now giving her a list of underwriters, names and phone numbers. And it's just all that easy. All it took this woman was 15 minutes last week to send out 4 emails and return 3 voicemails. That's all the effort she had to do. Couple voicemails, couple emails, and then today she walks in and it's grand 5-star service. Everybody's got a package for her, just like that.
That's incredible. So it's not real complex, brother. So, folks, in other words, nothing to fear. You're just asking for a little bit of information, but everybody thinks they're the big boogeyman, and they stand back. This is what I'm saying. Hey, brother, we just have to share with our brothers and sisters, hey, they work for you, folks, and they do, but they think they don't. But so it's not about going with the right attitude. And matter of fact, I just want to share
Peter,
something, brother.
Can I interrupt for a second? I just got the news that the last call that we did,
I don't hear a thing. I guess we lost her. And the whole show has gone dark.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I can hear you, Peter.
All right.
I can hear you.
Jade's good. Okay, good. Jade is no longer with us. We lost her in the breeze, I guess. Anyways, I was just wanting to share that, I've gone down to the county and asked for certain information and stuff like that, and then if you go with a little honey, they have no problems with giving it to you. So it's folks, nothing to be afraid of, no fear. Just like how to terminate third-party.
Sorry, I'm back. When I was
You're
making
back.
that statement, I was dropped. Yeah, I was making that statement about the treasurer and governor. I was dropped. So we'll take this on a private call after this call, so don't worry about it.
Okay, but you're teasing us now. You were going to give us the big news, and then the call dropped. What's the big news?
Yeah, the big news is that whatever that you said last week on this Blog Talk radio show has been picked up by the government, and they want to talk to you. So that's the big news. He's not kidding around, you guys. We're making headways here just by being on this call with Peter.
Who do they want to talk to? Me?
Jaguar.
Oh.
There's, we're getting closer and closer, and Jaguar is giving you guys all the keys. He's making it very easy for you guys. So I'll be quiet, let him talk.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Jade. Yes, the government does want to talk to me. In fact, there's quite a few of them, different levels. And the reason is because I've been doing this for decades. I've been walking in and out of doorways. Sometimes I kiss a little ass because I know the people that are helping me are kind and friendly angels, and they just need to know that it's a comfortable, wonderful thing that they're helping me out, because I'm here today on behalf of my foreign investors that are comprised of Swiss and Japanese, and we looked at your city. Yes, we looked at Richmond, Virginia, and we said, you need $100 million investment. And the Swiss and the Japanese think you're on their list. And you're saying to yourself, oh, my God, the Swiss, the Japanese, they want to invest in us? We are 5-star. Oh, we made it. Oh, good. So what I usually do is walk in and explain to them that I'm here on behalf of foreign investors. Some of them are sovereign clients, absolutely. Some of them are, but not all of them, some of them. And they want to invest in your community because you meet the Japanese and Swiss expectations list. And we'd like to start with $100 million, and this is just a genuine and sincere due diligence inquiry. It's nothing. I mean, take a look around at North Carolina. Let's take a look at that one. Did you know that there was 14 different counties between 2009 and 2012 that had $1 billion investment put into their counties? That's right. So state government understands that when somebody walks to the front door, says they're part of a foreign investment, genuine and sincere due diligence inquiry team, they know that there's $1 billion sitting on the other end of that pipeline. And that's what makes it all so much fun when you get to participate. Can you imagine walking into your local hood, district office, ask for the mayor's oath, and let them know that you're here because you got a group of foreign investors that want to invest $100 million American dollars, you know, because they believe in Obama, buy American. Yeah, we want to buy American. Absolutely. How much would you like us to buy? We'd like to start off at $100 million. We'd like to move it up to $1 billion. Those sounds like pretty big numbers, don't they? But to a state government, those are not big numbers. Those are standard numbers. In today's world of commerce, right now, we move $1 trillion American dollars through the system every single hour. 60 minutes go by, $1 trillion just moved on the international markets through computer heaven. Your opportunity to get a piece of its $7 trillion pie is not really all that difficult. You don't have to go out and form a sovereign nation. You don't have to do that. You can do this just by being an American, being a citizen, being a resident. Okay, do not let those labels throw you off, please. Those are the labels that get paydays. That $2,149 goes to the citizen. The $2,149 from the regional goes to the resident. So in this particular case, it's okay for you to know that you have a person. You're not the person, but you have a person. You are the thing, not the thing named. That's the point I get across. Now, at $2,149 per head, do you know what happens when the state government releases that to you instead of holding on to it, collecting 4.5% interest? Here's the simple math. Ask yourself, in your state right now, is there unemployment? Now, I myself have personal and practical experience with people I care about that live in Washington State, which has just a massive amount of unemployment. So when the knock on the door comes, and we make it as a non-adverse position on behalf of that, when they release the surplus funds and let out these little $2,200 checks, that state that does that will have a 20% increase in the first year for their growth. 20% interest. Now, what we've seen is, with the exception of 3 states, that means in under 18 months, unemployment in practically every state in the United States of America will be eradicated. How's that for thinking big?
Yep.
Now, but let's go back and talk about you. It's your money. Peter, all of a sudden you get a check for $25,000 because it's your due. What does that do for you? It provides a security that you didn't have yesterday. And that's what everybody here on this radio show can think about. It's like a lottery. Seriously, it's like a lottery. Instead of spending $5 on the ticket and taking your chance in line with 64 other million people, now you're taking a different approach.
Hey, is Canada a part of this this little nest egg or this pot of gold, so to speak?
Under NAFTA, we all are.
Right.
The Americans just show their books. Let's compare British Columbia, which has got a population of 3.5 million. Let's compare that with Washington State. Okay? Because Washington State's got 3.5 million. So if we're on the Cafferman, and you're on that website, and you can scroll down and over to the left-hand side, and we go to Washington, We will pull up Washington State, and that tells us they got 20.28B at 3,326 for every man, woman, and child. Okay? British Columbia is a $50 billion a year pipeline. Okay?
Yep.
Washington's telling us they got 20B pipeline on the surplus funds. So Canada and the United States of America are tied hip to cheek since 1984. They signed a Harmony Agreement, and they share this information. So if anybody has spent time on Walter Beerion's site, and you go to GAO, G-A-O, I think they're .org, GAO.org, you will find the Canadians and the Americans have had an agreement since 1984. Our books are exactly the same as your books.
Go figure.
So our numbers are pretty much the same as yours.
Yep. Talking a little bit about cappers, and I'm very, very familiar with that. I've been following that for about 10 years. Well, actually, about since 2001. And matter of fact, the gentleman he speaks of, Walter, he's old Navy hack, just like me. And him and I have had probably 6 conversations over the past year, because I do keep in touch with him. And Walter, he can give you the poop, folks. I'm telling you, he takes me down the deep end of the rabbit trail, and he starts crunching these numbers. And I say he's like a CPA master. Anyways, he's got a great site. It's www.caffer1. If you've never been there, folks, you ought to go see the biggest game in town. It's www.cafr, like Kathy, Annual, Frank, Robert, CAFR.com. And it'll take you right over to that site. Matter of fact, Jerry, there's a brother named Jerry. He's an older fellow, and he's on our site. 15-minute overview of the CAFR, folks, and it'll tell you about they got a surplus of about $110 trillion sitting in the kitty. If you combine all the 50 states, every county has a CAFR. I've looked up ours. It only took about 30 seconds clicking in the numbers, finding the numbers. And it's a beautiful thing. They're holding piles for everybody, but they consider we've abandoned everything anyway, so that's why they don't tell us anything. Anyways, brother, I'm going to let you wind her up and let her go. And let's get down to the brass tacks of the next level of what we're speaking here on how we can all possibly make an effective positive change very, very simply.
Yeah, and exactly. As you just found out, the numbers just went from 7 trillion to 110. You keep looking at the books, the numbers keep getting larger. Okay? And they have got to get rid of this. Now, here's something the Americans forget about themselves. What I'd like you to do is think about the red, the white, the blue, and you and your money. And I want to think you about what is the unique sign in the last half of the phrase American. Let's get rid of the A, let's get rid of the M, let's get rid of the E, let's get rid of the R. What? Every time you say American, you're saying, I can. Think about it.
Yep.
How many people on this planet have that in their nationality designator? I can. Forget the Ameri part. Just remember, I can. I'm American, red, white, and blue. It's all about you. It's all about your money. I can. You got the can-do attitude. So just remember, that's your inheritance. You have the I can attitude. You can do it. That is one of the things that makes this aspect so realistically simple. You can do it. You have the ability to ask a question. You have the ability to make an email. You have the ability to do this. All you have to do is find a reason to do it. And I think the reason to do it is the fact that there are 350 million people in America, and there's over $110 trillion to split up. What does this do to the rest of the world? It means the rest of the world can achieve the same thing. What is the achievement? Well, let's go back to something everybody wants to walk away from, which is the truth. Capitalism works if done correctly, not socialism, capitalism. But good capitalism does understand they have to look after their lower infrastructure. They get it. So what happens when you release $120 $10 trillion back into the North American economy over the next 12 months, you eradicate employment in North America, you will be able to employ Mexico. Now, there is something that makes it easier to understand if you're in America. What if all the people in Mexico finally had a job without taking yours? Wouldn't that be fun? So remember, North America retains its dominance in commerce because they're intellectual giants. They're selling intellectual process. They're selling intellectual property rights. And you can thank the original founders of intellectual process and property, such as Ford, who came up with the idea of assembly lines as a simple taste. So as America moves into the intellectual process, that's one of the reasons why they've been exporting their labor jobs out to the sub-Sahara, India, things like that. Don't be mad at that. That's a good thing, because now you can concentrate on using your mind power rather than your muscle power. But think about this. In the American, I can, red, white, and blue, I got something for you. That's right. You got $110 trillion and you own a piece of the pie, and we would like to bring to your attention, we can take you there. We have the ability on your behalf to step to the door and talk to somebody on your behalf. And we think it's about time that you knew that such an entity existed. We are the Platinum Party of employers who think and act to increase awareness. And we're bringing this to you as a pre-election call. Good old British Columbia, in May 2013, it's our turn to step up to the plate. And in the last 18 months, we've been telling those around us that we are going to step up to the plate. We are going to put our name to the hat. We can do this one of two ways. We can do it the way we prefer. As we step up to the plate, we put our name on, and then we walk away. We don't tell anybody. We're just a name on the list. Or we can step up, put our name on the list, and then scream like crazy, we're all about money, money, money. You don't need to know anything about us except if you vote us in power, we are going to give you money. Money. We're going to give you money. It's yours. Now, this particular province, British Columbia, is sitting on $7 trillion. And this discovery was made to the elect government on our last election in 2009, when I was given a call as the principal and interim leader of the Platinum Party of Employers who think and act to increase awareness, that CBC wanted to do a 2-minute interview with me. And I says, okay, I can do that. So essentially what I told them in the 2-minute interview is the world is not flat. There is no war on terrorism. And the British Columbia government is currently sitting on $7 trillion worth of surplus funds, and nobody's broke. The government's just telling you a joke, and nobody broke. Not only that, but every single mortgage that was obtained in British Columbia is eligible for a Jubilee exemption. Needless to say, they did not air that 2-minute commercial, which we told them if that's the case, we're going to go south. And we're going to talk to every single American we can get to through any form of communications on the internet that we can get to, and we will explain to them that we will step up to the plate on your behalf as a foreign authority state government, and all we need to meet our expectations is 1,020 members per state, and it gives us an automatic key to walk in the door without using a stick and explain to them there is a claim on the table and today is payday. Now, people ask, well, what would we do if we're able to achieve this? Well, then we become the new distribution center. We will assist the state governments, your areas, to correctly distribute the funds. Of course, at that particular point, we retain a small fee, usually 0.1%, to act as their agent, as their foreign agent. That's what we want to impress upon them. We will operate as a foreign agent. We will take 0.1% in order for you to do your job, avoid all civil liabilities, and avoid all criminal injunctions. And that's a pretty sweet deal. It's about share the love, because nobody here is in trouble. We want to explain to them that there were difficulties, and that those difficulties are like anything else in the world of adults. We're not casting fingers to blame. We have a situation. The basement is flooded. How it got flooded, no matter, concerns ourselves. We have to deflood the basement. We found out why it flooded. The pipe broke. The pipe is being fixed, and that's how we look at economics. We're not here to point fingers and blame. We're not here to look at former administrations and cast the evil eye on them. What we want to do is step up to the plate and let them know there are good people in place. They do understand what we're talking about, and all they want from us is explain to you, if you ask us these questions in this order, these individuals, these groups, these men, these women, these organizations can go to the table on your behalf and get things done without getting into a pissing match.
Jaguar, could you make it clear? Could you make it clear for folks what they actually need to do as far as getting how many oaths and insurance? Is there insurance involved with that, or is just the oaths?
Okay, to make it real simple, you simply ask for a true and certified copy of the oath, and then what you want to do is, because it's about your hood that's going to pay you, so you need to do your hood. So we'll use the example of Richmond, Virginia. So you live in Richmond, Virginia. Well, in Richmond, Virginia, we get a copy of the oath of the mayor of Richmond, Virginia, and Richmond, Virginia also has a county designator. So there's two. There's a municipal identifier and there's a county identifier, and you have to get the paper from those who run the corporation. Now, once you've got that, that's the easiest part. Now what you do is you move up the ladder. Now, Jade, I believe for commerce in the United States, the oath that you want next is the Secretary of State, the Auditor General, and the Inspector General. Those are the three that you need.
Thank you.
Yes, it's essentially what we do. So we don't really have a Secretary of State the way the Americans do. We have a slightly different system because we're uncodification, you're codification. So once you've asked for the mayor at the municipal and county level, you want to go to the Secretary of State, you want to go to the Auditor General, and you want to go to the Inspector General. Now, if you have a Comptroller General, put them on the list. But for the three categories, you want the Secretary of State, you want the Auditor General and the Inspector General, because these are the people that handle the books. The Comptroller is good, but the Comptroller cannot release funds until the Auditor General gets the okay from the Inspector General. So just to keep in mind. Now, you have to move that one more phase upstream to the federal department. Get the Fed's Inspector General, get the Fed's Auditor General, get the Fed's Secretary of State, specifically related to your state. Those are the layers. That's it. Now, once you have those, you have the people who are managing the railway station, the ports, everybody. These three categories, these four categories cover everything. They're in charge of the ship, so to say. Now, what makes this unique is when it's in your hands, there's two things that you'll need to do. One, competence and use of a scanner will be helpful. So you've got true and certified copies that have come in. This is great. And we're going to ask for two sets. And it's okay to ask for two sets. They understand organizations do this lots. You ask for two sets, and the reason you need two sets is because there's one set at the local office, which would be you, and one set for the international office, which would be us. Now, when you get this information, and we'll give you a little tip here, it's going to take about a half an hour to explain, and we won't be able to do it today. We're going to show you how to take that and turn it into your asset. And just so you get an idea, what is the oath of a mayor worth? $10 million to you. It's worth $10 million to you. Get a Secretary of State's oath. What's that worth to you? $100 million. That's your surety. That's your bond. So we will show you a special process where you can utilize the post office a red line, and a couple of unique words and turn that oath into your asset for your estate. Now, this is where it all comes down to. I know for some, what I just said might be a little complex, so let's go back and make it easy. Just ask for an oath. As for the bond, ask them to tell you the types of bonds that are available. That's easy. And with the insurance and reinsurance, all you need is the underwriter's contact name and information. Phone, fax, and email. Simple list. When this has been achieved, now we're in a position to go into a formal process and make an official claim using this information as our backup. Now, if those who've been on this call and have heard Jade on occasion, you might have been told about Cincy Brewer and DNA as a commodity to run commerce. That is known as Public Law 103-325. And that is the doorway that we're going in through, because under treaty agreements, any violation of Public Law 103-325 is a reason for a friendly foreign state to encourage the American state to comply. That's essentially the method in which we perform our communications. So this is how we do it. We do it because we have status, and we do it with you because you can become an international. They're not totally ready, so if anybody wants to run over and drop in their email today, I can only send you to one of two locations. The others, legalphotoidcards.us. You're going to see a copy of the card. You're going to see a little introductory clip, and we have all this information sitting in the back pipe to go on that site. And when that'll probably be sometime later this week, but we have official letters from different levels of ministry that says it's okay for us to make ID cards. It's perfectly legal. We have capacity under law. They are called, in the correct language, authorized original identification documents under other documents. And just so you know, and this is the part I think is absolutely hilarious, it's right up there with birth certificates. Isn't that unique? The Platinum Party membership cards have the equivalent in commerce as a birth certificate. And here's what makes it more interesting. Those who've been catching up on the deep end of the pool, here's what we make it so unique. We put a registered, for the Americans, international, what they call an RW code, and that becomes part of your identifier. So when you get a registered security, now you turned it into not just an ID card, it is on the face of it a registered security. Now on the back of it, here's the part you got to get a big tickle out of. On the back of the card, it identifies to you very clearly, very cleanly, that the holder of this card is either a live man or a live woman and operates as a researcher, operates as a journalist, operates as a scrutinizer, operates as an investigator, operates as a judge absolute general, in fact, operates as administrator of the person, operates as minister of commerce, so on and so forth. Those categories come to your level. As you increase your level, you will have accommodations to note your position. Now, it signifies you as a live man, and it states on the back that this is a lawful document, and it is signed by both the treasurer and the financial agent. So you just don't have an ID card anymore. You have a surety, a registered surety, and you are making it very clean, very clear to the world of commerce that you understand both the public and the private, because the front of the card is the public, the back of the card is the private, and here's the part that really sets things apart. There is no magnetic stripe. There's no barcode. There's no RFID chip. Nothing. We don't have any of that. And the reason is we don't have any of that because that would be a violation of the security of the person. It's like you asking Obama to fork over the names of everybody in his political party. They're not going to do that. That's a national security issue. So, no tracking devices, no magnetic codes, no barcodes, no RFID chip, but there's enough information on the card to pass as legal ID anywhere around the planet because it's proof of voter name and address. And the most important part, it states very clearly and very cleanly, this lawful document belongs to the bearer. You own the card. It's yours. You own it. You own it.
But what, Jaguar, let me interrupt a second. On a voter, see, because I tell people to get the hell off the voter rolls here in USA Inc., part of the body politic, because if they don't divest themselves, they're part of the 14th Amendment slave plantation. So I'm not, you got me confused.
Well,
voting for what? What part of what body politic?
It doesn't matter. That's the classification that gets the payout. The surplus funds are designed to be paid out to the citizen and are designed to be paid out to the resident. So the difference here is you simply understand that you are the thing, not the thing name. You own a Ford, you drive a Ford, but you're not the Ford.
Right.
You own a citizen. You operate the citizen, but you're not the citizen.
Right.
Now, when you go into a store and you make a purchase and you use a credit card, sometimes they're going to ask you for additional identification, right, Peter?
Yep.
So what do you usually do? You have to pull out your state card or your driver's license to show them.
Yeah, I don't bank in the system, so it's never been an issue for about 20 years.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people out there in traditional land that use credit cards to buy things, and when they make a credit card purchase, sometimes the merchant asks them to provide secondary ID.
Right.
This gives you a position where you have secondary ID. Now, it also gives you capacity. Now, remember, the whole emphasis here is that you're an administrator. You're not the citizen account. That's separate. That's what you manage. So the emphasis, in order to encourage the payday to the citizen, it's okay for the person of payday to say, over here, on behalf of the citizen, I can accept payment. It's not saying that you are the citizen. And this is where the difference of opinions usually come from. Our traditional approach is that it's okay to be a citizen, it's okay to be a resident, just comprehend that these are corporations that you run. These are your corporations. You get to run them. They're the ones that get the payday. And they get the payday because you have the ability to explain to them. So the voter list, it's kind of a joke here because that is the name of the list that gets first priority payouts. So we decided to work with the system, to go with the system, that in order for you to do payouts, they need to be on a voter list. Okay, great, fine, we'll put them on the vote list. And what are we voting for? Money, money, and money. What are you voting for? You're voting for what is known as the constitutional right. And I hear a lot of Americans talk about their constitutional rights like it's a plural. No such thing. It's a singular. You have a constitutional right. And your constitutional right is to ask for the Bailey undertaking, which is the same position as your right to vote for your surplus fund return. That's the whole point.
Hey,
of
Jaguar,
the
Jaguar, quick question. If folks were a member of the Platinum Party that you have, would they be able to flash that ID in a courtroom and ask for risk management and go further into the books?
Well, preferably you would actually do that ahead of time administratively, so when you were to show up in court, you're simply here to see if they've complied with their command.
I got you.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we do.
It would be beautiful if one could utilize that ID for secondary identification as well as when you speak to risk management or any of these body political groups, that you could show them why you're asking for it through that identification.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, this is our 9th year in operation. We've been using the cards from the get-go. We have our latest version to match the new styles and graphics of modern identifications. And so when we walk into an office, we begin to ask them. So if I walk into an office and introduce myself, it's investigator, it's Pavel Sozo. Did you hear me? First part, I am investigator Sozo. I know the first word is Spavo is very difficult to say, so we're going to skip that. And then most of the locals know me as Investigator Sozo. And when I walk in and I introduce myself as Investigator Sozo, I remind them that I'm not asking anybody for anything. I am telling you, I came here for your oath. You will provide it. Your option to say no does not exist. Who are you again? And then with that, I'll put my ID card on the table and say, if you can read English, you will see that I am capacity.
Well, I'm going to let Brother Jaguar move this train forward. And, folks, if there are any hands up, I guess if my producer wants to let any calls through on any questions, we can. But until then, we're going to keep going down this track. Brother Jaguar, let her rip.
All right, welcome back to the second half of the hour. We're at the top of the hour. It's the Platinum Party's calling. We're sending a message to you. There's lots of money waiting. We'll show you what to do. Your country ain't broke. It's just a joke. The government's playing on you. So, yes, this is the Platinum Party Policies. It's all about you. It's all about your money, and we'd like to step up to the plate and practice our expertise in communications on your behalf. Is there anybody that's listening to this call right now that does not want a chunk of $110 trillion? Is there anybody on this show? Please put your information in the chat box. Is there anybody who does not want a chunk of $110 trillion? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, we consider this to be a public notice to our public servants. Everybody wants a chunk of their surplus funds. Absolutely. Now, with that in mind, I believe Jade has access to the chat box, and she can throw in an email for illuminatingmindstherapy.com. It's one of our international members that put this page up to assist us, and we actually have an email box in there that you can put your name in, because we're going to public release next week. So just to give you an idea, who are the people that make our cards? They are the very same people that use very high-level features because they produce identification cards on a government contract for law enforcement. So we're using the best quality people. And just so you know, since 2011, if you go to a card printing shop and tell them to make up ID cards for you, they will tell you expressly you must put the word novelty on the card, with the exception of us. We're genuine registered. We're genuine certified, so we can issue authorized original identification documents. Now remember, this is about your person. It's not about you. It's your person that you administer. And just make it easy, it's not a straw man. A straw man is a reference to one individual category. The straw man actually encompasses 6 categories because there's 6 accounts. And to make it very easy for you, we'll use the word Bob Jones. Bob Jones, in all capital letters, as you call it, is the Bob Jones Maximus Citizen account. When you reverse it, Jones Bob in Maximus, that is the resident account, and they have their derivatives, which is Bob Jones and Joan Bob's. And we just changed the way we write the letters. So there's 6 accounts, and they all get paid. And they all get paid through the citizen, and they all get paid through the resident. So it's okay. You're not that person. That's what makes the system understand you deserve the payday. You're not the person. It's your corpus account.
Let me just clarify a little bit for the listeners. If you're a resident citizen, you need to talk to us. What about those who already got off the ship? What if those who already converted their status to something else, such as another nation, but they're still living within the system?
All right, again, it's the same thing. All the paperwork clarifies the status of the account and the direction of the account. It's same thing as doing an insurance claim for an automobile accident in a different country. You were in LA, you visited Vancouver, you had an accident in Vancouver caused by somebody in British Columbia, Canada, and the insurance had to do the payout to you, the foreigner from Los Angeles. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it still happens. So it doesn't matter if you've already gotten off the boat somewhere else. The fact is that claim still sits on the table with the former holders of that account. They still have a due process under law to clear up that account and release it. Because remember, every time that they release the surplus fund to the citizen, they refund to the resident, the state government can open up anywhere from 64 to 128 different doors for themselves. That's where the advantage is. So don't concern, you're not the citizen. That's the name on the card for the account. You're the administrator of the account. So it doesn't really matter if you've gotten off the ship or still on the ship. Your account still has entitlement. The only difference here
that
is
means that it still exists within the system, folks. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and now just to take it to the deep end, and I know this is going to be a little difficult for some of you to grasp, but there are men and women that when you punch their name into the system, the database will come back and it'll make it very clear that the answer is possibly deceased. But there you are right in front of them. They just asked you for your ID. You gave it to them. And all the computer can say is possibly deceased. That's just the system's way of acknowledging that you've moved over to the adult world of account management. So just remember, these are terms not to be afraid of. You're not the citizen. You manage the citizen. You manage the resident, and that's where the reflection comes in. So it's okay to work both sides of the systems. We have this as the philosophical, spiritual level. We hear it all the time. You have to walk, what is it? You walk in one world, live in another. I walk in two worlds, but I don't belong to both. I can't remember the phrase right now, but it's a very, very unique phrase. So this is essentially what you're doing. You've got one foot in one world, but you're not really of it, but you go through it. You have one foot in another world, which you're constantly keeping your base. So as the live man, as the live woman, you live, breathe, and move about, but you do this to manage.
I want to make it clear because there's folks out there who say, yes, you need to be out of the system. Yes, you need to realign with other nations under treaty laws, etc. And what I say is you could be in both, honey. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you just need to know how to play each side of it the way that you want to go. It's just like having a military base in one location while you're operating in another location.
And what you're talking is about the deep end of the pool that attracts a lot of people who want to learn how to organize and run their own little mini governments. And that's totally open. Lots of different groups are running for that. But for the average everyday mom and dad who does listen to this show, don't scare yourself. You don't have to run out with the bros and sisters and start to form your own government. You don't have to do that. But you should make it a point to find 3 close associates so that should you decide to take this step, you can put yourself in a position to control the account. That's the main thing here. So there are some paperwork you're going to need to put into place to secure the account And you don't have to do anything fancy, because this is just about letting the administrators know when it comes to something like, for example, utilities, that the administrator will then provide a directive instructive so the utilities company will operate the probate account on your behalf. And which happens then when you talk to the people in the utilities company at the administrative account level and tell them to work your probate account. They will. They will take full settlement out of the probate account, no more billing to your house, and they will remove the meter from your door. This is ongoing right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a big secret. All corporations operate and control probate accounts. All you have to do is provide them directions and instructions, and they will, for the most part, work with you if you speak to them in their language. And this is where we want to point out to you. For those who've got the, get the junkie fix here and want to go all the way out, form your own trust organization and get nation-state status, country codes, absolutely, you can go there. It's a long route, a lot of paperwork. But for the average listener to this call, let me make it very clear. It's about simple management. It's no different than what you're already doing. There's X amount to go out the door to make sure the roof over your head stays there, whether it's a mortgage or rent. You got to put food on the table. This stuff occurs. We're making the suggestion that with simple, genuine, sincere due diligence efforts, a little bit of knowledge at the adult level, you can begin to instruct and work through so that your utilities company will operate the probate account for you. Your food retailer will operate a probate account for you. Now, what would happen in your world? Will there be a change if all of a sudden you woke up one day after a number of hours of hard sweat and effort and you no longer had utility bills to pay? You no longer had grocery bills to pay. What would that give you in return for satisfaction of your account? Gives you more time and keeps funds in your pocket for your discretionary use. And that's essentially what the surplus funds original design was, is to take the heat off the bottom end of the infrastructure. Now, for some people, picking up $3,500 a year is laughable. They'll blow that in a weekend in Aspen. They'll chuck it away on a weekend in Vegas. But for other people, that $3,500 per year, that $300 a month makes the difference between going with and going without. Add on to that, then under proper management of your surplus dividend interest, let's take Alaska, $11,888. Now, what would that do in your world if all of a sudden you're getting a G note from the state, from the county, from the feds, and from the regional? That's $4,000 per month. Your utilities are taken care of. Your food's taken care of. Now you have an opportunity to go into what Jeremy Rifkin calls the empathicus environment, because you don't need a carrot to promote what you do. Now you can go and master and become successful at that which attracts you. I'll give you an example for context. I know a guy who's an iron worker, been an iron worker for 32 years, but what does he really want to do? He wants to learn how to play the flute. That's what he wants to do, and he's actually pretty good at it. He'd like to become better, but he just doesn't have the time, because he doesn't get paid much as a flute player, though he tries. So the idea under the surplus funds is that you should be able to achieve $1,000 per head per month from each of the 4 layers of government. You should be able to position where your probate account, and it's not to make it easy, cheesy, breezy for you. The reason for the exchange here is that you can then become part of the empathicus, where your job now is to become a master of success at something that develops other aspects of your world. A lot of brilliant, talented people out there, and this is what allows that freedom. And for those who have families, this allows an opportunity that has been generations in planning. What happens when a mom and a dad who have got kids actually can stay home and raise the kids together? That's the end result. of the change. The end result of the change is we'll have a society so that we will have the comfort of time and minimum financial resources to continue forward. Are there any questions?
Also,
There's got to be at least one question by this point.
the state controller's office is the one who handles the surplus funds, and the IRS is the one collecting for the Agriculture Department. Agriculture Department's on a contract with the IRS. So there are funds being moved around in every nook and corner. And to point out what Jaguar is saying is dead on, that when I trace the funds from people's account, I noticed that they would flow from the Treasury to the Comptroller, to the county, then to the city. So because you're a resident within that city, that's a head that they get a credit. And they get credits for all sorts of things. And it's an EFT at the end of the day from the Comptroller to the county to the city. And one example would be that they have a pollution fund for each head of vehicle. And, of course, that ties in with the residents. And so at the end of the day, I would make a computer entry, let's say, from my city to the county, and the county would say, oh, you have 50,000 vehicle heads. Okay, you get to have this EFT. And what Jaguar is proposing here is that there is a nesting egg called a surplus fund for when you don't come and pick it up, then, of course, the Comptroller will call it unclaimed funds. And that's where they're, do you want to talk about the end of the year and how they do their physical calendar accounting?
That might be a little deep for the crowd right now. The emphasis here, Jade, is you provide complete verification and support that the simple basic asking for the oaths at the local level, making sure that you understand who is your contact for the claims officer and risk management. Combine that with the fact that you've got the Comptroller, Auditor General, Inspector General, and Secretary of State's paperwork. You're now in a position where you can go in and risk management will assist you. And now you'll know how to fill out a claim at the local level on behalf of your resident so that they can return your surplus funds for your account at all the levels. Now, the risk management at the local hood level will get you the payday from the county, the municipality, the regional, the state, and the feds. They'll all chip up to the table, and risk management will do that for you. So for the listeners on this call, what Jade was talking about is a tad more complex. This particular call is to make it easy. It's about you, it's about your money, and it's sitting on the other side. You may not know how to get there, but there are a number of people that do. And so our position, again, is a political subdivision. We work within the system for the system to a certain degree, but we make it very clear to the system that on one hand, while we do have status as a person, we're actually all administrators of the person. That's the big difference. And that's what makes it an adult playing field. So, and it's easy enough to do. Could you imagine what it's like to get $1,000 per head from 4 different directions every month, all month, and your utilities and your groceries are taken care of through probate accounts? Now you have abundance. And
that is huge. That is really huge.
It is huge because you can actually stay indoors and express your creativity in other directions because you're no longer concerned about how you're going to put food on the table, how to keep the table in the house and the roof over your head. Now, all of a sudden, again, let's go to Jeremy Rifkin, the homopathicus environment. If you go to a web channel, I believe it's called, I think it's RST. I'm pretty sure. But they have some incredible information in little hand whiteboards. And what it explains is that once you get above rudimentary cognitive skill level, money isn't what influences you. Money doesn't do the trick. The reason why we have internet phenomena such as Wikipedia and why we have such huge software out there like that's available for everybody to use, open source software, is because these people are driven from the empathicus part of civilization, which means they must master and become successful at their chosen talent. So the people who put Wikipedia together are brilliant men and brilliant women who have great jobs and make good coin. These are people who are making 60, 80, 100, 200, 300,000 a year. So why are they dedicating 20 to 30 hours a week of their free time to help build Wikipedia? They're making good cake. They do it because they want to become a master at something. And this also allows for the genuine share the love, because they understand that their talent at the adult level is to assist the development of the other brothers and sisters not quite there yet. So if Wikipedia hadn't got the balls and the brains to come up with an innovative solution and provide the world with a open source free database, most of us wouldn't be as competent at the level we're at now if it wasn't for the use of something like Wikipedia. And just so everybody here can have a bit of a chuckle, when Wikipedia first came up on the internet, I avoided it like the plague. Wouldn't touch it, wouldn't even click on it. I was under the impression that Wikipedia was an encyclopedia for Wiccans. Yeah, how's that for fun? So I finally clicked on it one day and found out it's not an encyclopedia for Wiccans. It's an encyclopedia, period. And you get a lot of good information from Wikipedia. That is the result of people who were able to go beyond the carrot and stick. They had sufficient funds to take care of them. They had a decision. They had funds, they had time, and so they dedicated their time as the brotherly love and the sisterly love to share. So that's eventually where this intention is going, and this is what we do when we talk to other government agents. We're not here to give you shit. We're here to help you out because at the end of the day, it's about you and your money. And that's what we like to explain to them. It's not about us. Mm-mm. Yeah, we might be at the front door knocking on it for a payday, but you see, when we get a payday, 100,000 of you get a payday. So think about it. For the state, it's a good deal. In order for them to open up the surplus funds, they have got to make a payment to the citizen. They've got to make a payment to the resident. And every time they make out a payment, a single payment to a resident, to a citizen, that gives them 128 doorways to bring out the same amount and start feeding their infrastructure. For every man or woman that listens to this, who finds the logicality of this workable, just think, every time you got your payday for your administration of your citizen, your resident account, 128 areas around you also get the same amount. That's how you build your roads. That's how you restore your hospitals. That's how you change the face. Now, to make it clear and simple, we just tell them that they're in violation of 103-325. That's a very lengthy conversation that can go on for an entire weekend. All you need to know is that Public Law 103-325 and the violation thereof for not giving you your citizens and your residents surplus dividend interest means that the managers are in a position. They are going to have to make a payout. They have to.
I think what is significant about this call, which you are proposing here, is that everybody can be involved, everybody can contribute, and everybody can have a payday. What is the difference between others coming along and the difference between what you do besides your political subdivision, the Platinum Party? And how can people trust that in order to work with your team?
Well, first of all, what makes us different is we're verifiable. You can go on to any one of a number of government databases, go to the BC Elections website. You'll find out that we've been a registered member since March 1st, 2005. You go over to Colorado, Secretary of State, type in Platinum Party of Employers and Think It Act to Increase Awareness. You'll find our certificate of registration, a member in good standing. Take that name and go ask the IRS if we have an EIN number, and they will confirm we have an EIN number. If we give you the EIN number, make it easy for you, they will confirm that EIN number belongs to a foreign authority state government. So that puts us into an easy-to-verify position. We're legit. We've been around for 9 years, and our little website, which is pathetic, platinumparty.org, has minimum legislative requirements for a website. And we identify who we are, and we're only interested in 4 things: post bonds, liability insurance, and reinsurance carriers. That's it. We don't care about policy. We just want to know about money. Now, as far as an investment into us goes, well, the cards we're suggesting is you pick up a pair. It's $300 out of your pocket because you got to get notaries. We need notarized documents for our private files. These are standalone. Does not go into a database. And that also covers shipping and handling because it's registered mail. That's an investment equal to a weekend out for some families.
Can you repeat that amount one more time?
Repeat?
Repeat one more time that amount, registered mail.
Okay. For the participant, it'll be about $300 out of their pocket. The reason is it goes $200 for the cards, $100 to carry shipping, handling, registration, certification costs. So dependent on what you pay for notary, we need 2 notarized pieces, one for your state or driver's license that has the name and the address, and another one that meets the variety so that we can secure our position. And because we're getting true and certified copies in, that gives us the opportunity to then send it out international registered mail, so your card now becomes a registered security. And that's the difference there. Again, you own the cards. That's the reason for the price being $100 a card. You own it. You don't lease it. You don't rent it. It's not ours. We can't take it away from you. It's yours. And it's permanent. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for having me on here on Freedom Reigns. Because I know that Freedom Reign is a opportunity for people to express their individuality, their creativity, but most importantly to find a solid route to establish their empowerment. When it comes to the world of money, government, it's a system that's fraught with danger. The object of this show is to show you that there's more than one way to approach the system. I've been dealing with men and women my whole life who take an adult perspective that this is simply an account. It's simply a management issue. There's nowhere to cast blame. So that's our approach. And our approach has been developed over a period, like our party is 9 years old. And we thought about this a whole long time before we put the party together. And we put the party together because of the insistence we were getting from various judges. They said, if you're going to be the vanguard leader of a movement, then you might as well have a voice. You might as well have a political voice. Because political voices do get heard, even if they only come from a group that's very, very small. So this is an opportunity to let you know we're not rocket scientists. We have worked in the industry at various levels, but we're not well-known, and we don't have 5-star names, but we do have knowledge. And that knowledge we can express to you in a manner that says, if you're willing to do a little bit of work, ask some simple questions, get some mail, follow process and procedure, you are in a lineup where the government will acknowledge you and give you your payday. Now, how do we know this? Because a number of people have already got their paydays. The difficulty for us is we're under disclosure. We can't tell you who they are. It's part of the privacy and security. We work with people to assist them in simple areas. By becoming a member of the Platinum Party of Employers, which they can act to increase awareness, you now have a reason to ask questions without being in a position to get demonized as one of those wacky conspiracy theories. Oh, no, it's another one of them straw manners. Ooh, he's using UCC1 on us. Well, no, they're not going to say that. You're an adult who appreciates the good help you're getting. You'd appreciate it even more if they could figure out how to do their payday. And while the lineup may seem a little complex at this point, it's not. There's a dozen people in a very specific lineup, and once you communicate with them, it works. Now, that's the whole reason why we're here. We know that some of you have difficulties to communicate at this level. That's okay. We can do it for you. And this is the whole reason why there's groups. In order to do this as a one-man band, claim your state, and go off and start your micronation of one, it's easier if you bundle up with like minds. Like minds make it easier. And this is how parallel groups and groups in front of us are now moving to the plate of the international market to establish public-private liability offset partnerships in order to encourage the release of surplus funds for infrastructure development. This is a fairly standard game set on the table right now at certain levels of the government. They're well aware of this. It's no secret. That's why guys like me are suddenly all of a sudden showing up on the internet. Because we want to let you know it's okay, it's safe in the jungle, kids. You can get in the water, there's no piranhas, there's no barracudas, there's no sharks. But we still would like you to know you have to use some caution. The majority of the conflict has been taken care of through language, simple language. It is this simple language that allows you to communicate. And like I said, Platinum Party of Employers was in Connect to increase awareness as the head organization is capable to step up to the plate on your behalf. But in order for us to do that,
I really appreciate Jaguar speaking about this topic because it's been under wraps for some time, and he's been working very hard with his political subdivision to clear the way for everybody to be a part of, what he's researched. And for that, there's not a lot of great teachers out there, groups out there who would do such a thing and spend their time and educate the masses on this very important topic. So it is empowerment, and, they're only asking for a couple simple things that everybody can do, and then to hand over the reins to them. So it's wonderful, and I really appreciate that. And everybody listening is also appreciative.
Well, thank you kindly, Jade. Now, for the listeners on the audience, Jade sometimes gives me very strong accolades, but I'll be quite truthful with you. The man that you're listening to tonight is known in the group as the stupid one. I'm the stupid one. I ain't the smart one. The smart ones in the family are very difficult to understand. I've been given the task to come forward as a translator at the average, everyday level, but I hang out with people who are genuine geniuses, and when we're in a room together and you hear us talking, you'll know what I mean when I say I'm the stupid one. Yeah, I know that's kind of funny to think about. People think about that. Oh, you the stupid one? I'm the stupid one. Wait till you meet the smart ones. They'll tell you some real good stuff, but they use a language that's very difficult to understand. It's like listening to somebody speak a foreign language. So I'm somebody who works at the very base bottom level. I have information, and that information, when used correctly, can get you anywhere from risk management, so you're able to talk to somebody all the way up to Secretary of State and the Inspector General. It's not a whole lot of words to learn. 66 words in a different rotation. But the whole object here is, and I want to be very grateful here to Peter and Jade, because if it wasn't for good folks like this on the back end, I would never have gone public. We have been declining to go public for a very long time because we believe that certain things had to be established first. There had to be an open pipeline. There had to be absolute proof and verification that the system works with you at certain levels under certain conditions. So we've done that. We've made the proof. Has anybody got their big payday? Been a couple small ones. No big ones yet. But again, when we go to the table, we're not saying that we're here for us. It's not about our payday. It's about everybody's payday. So we've come to the conclusion as men and women, it's okay for us to get a payday. But if we're going to get a payday, we want to make sure everybody else gets a payday. So that's the difference between us and every other group that's out there. We are recognized. We are legitimate. We do understand both public and private. But most importantly, we understand that if this mess is going to have its solution, it has to be given application to apply to each and every one of us, no matter what our talent level is. The surplus funds have been set up. You're worth anywhere from a couple grand a year to a couple grand a month minimum. And I believe that in this society, we should activate those applications and make them work. One of the greatest things the Canadians would love to see for the Americans is a better health plan. Seriously. You go into the States, I myself have never done this, I only get to hear stories, and you can walk out the door with a $50,000 or $100,000 bill. Yet in Canada, you can walk in the same door, get the same service, and walk out the door, and it's not going to cost you $100,000. It costs you $30. You have the same thing in England. They will pay you on the way out the door. So we believe that by getting the Americans to look up and understand that the greatest part about being an American is the I can attitude. Because you can do this. That's why you're living here in this country right now, and that's why you're listening to this show right now. It's not a coincidence why you're on this show right now. Whether you catch it live or in the future, you're listening to this show right now because you got the I can attitude. You have the ability to understand it is about you. It is about your money, and you do deserve a payday, and you're the sort of man and woman who knows that when you look after yourself, it's a responsible battle. You have to look after those around you. And that's what this is about. It's about all of us to get a payday. And for those who want to stroke it and form up your own independent nation, that's possible. A lot of work. But that's not for today's call. Today's call is about you and your money and the fact that you have an opportunity to change it with minimal effort. It does not take a lot of time to ask these questions. It does not take a lot of time to get the answers back. Start to finish, on an average, North America, if you stick to the schedule, by the time you go through Peter's 8-week course, you will have accomplished not only what Peter's course is teaching you, but you will actually have been able to go out there and gotten this material. And so Peter and I are going to work together so he can adopt the formula. You don't have to become a member of our party to make this work. You can do this under any other umbrella organization. So this is where Jade, Peter, myself, and a number of others were swapping. This is the formula. You can do it under our umbrella, or you can do it under somebody else's umbrella, or you can make your own umbrella. The process is the same. You ask these questions to these people, get these papers back, stamp them in this order, and send them back to them, and now you're in a position to deal. They'll talk to you. It's a poker game, but now it's not rigged. Now you know what the rules are.
Oh, don't forget the receipts. Keep your receipts, folks.
Oh, and
if you're ordering certified copies, get the receipt.
Yes. Now, we will cover that during the lesson season, but she's absolutely right when you ask this. Now, it's interesting to note, some places do not give you a fee. You go into the mayor's office and get true and certified copies, and they'll be free. Now, for those who want to charge you, by all means, pay the tab and keep the receipt. Because when you go and get a true and certified copy made at the next stage, you want that receipt on the back. And that's the second stage. But the first stage is to go and get it, get 2 sets, and it doesn't matter if it's with our organization or another umbrella, you always order 2 sets. One for you, personal files, one for you for HQ files. That's pretty normal. Now, when you get to the individual or the group, when you go and get the next stage done at the level that is concerned for you, you go and get a true and certified copy of the oath, and then you want to apply your John Hancock, as they say, to it, and get that true and certified. Keep that receipt and have that photocopied onto the back of your instrument. Then when you have your risk management stamp on it, and it's now been notarized by a witness to you, and it's got the registered mail sticker on it, and you send it back to yourself, now you're in control of your asset. And as a group, remember, you have to do this as a group. You can do this as a one-on-one, but we found that that's so much work. It's an incredible amount. It's easier to get together and work. So ask yourself right now, are there 3 people that you can get to work with? And ask yourself, who can you trust with your car? Who can you trust to do a small errand for you? And who can you trust to give you a hand when you need a hand? That's essentially what you're looking for in your 3 partners. You need people that will be there when you need them. Do they have to learn this? To a certain degree, yes, because you're working as partners, but you don't need to be rocket scientists. You don't need to be management expertise in accounting. You don't need to have a really in-depth knowledge of legal systems. All you need to know is you've got a couple buddies, 3 of them's helpful, work with you, and they're basically going to sign on as trustees for your security agreements. And we've got various systems in place. We have some members that their partners just show up and sign when they need to sign, and pretty much everything's simple and easy. And others, they're going much further. They want to start up a micronation. They want to go nation state. They want to start getting country codes and zip codes and all sorts of stuff. And that means their team has to be a lot more compliant with each other. But for the average, everyday mom and dad who does listen to this call today, all you need are 3 partners, and that's it. 3 partners to get the game rolling, and you duplicate the work between you. Now, you could have one party that's in LA, another party that's in Tennessee, another party that's in New York. It's all doable. The only difficulty here is that you're going to lose a time lag for signatories. It's better if you can work with people in your own hood. But you don't have to. We have one group that has 13 signatories, and they're from 6 different locations. They're all over the country. But they make it work in process. So with that in mind, you have an opportunity with minimum effort under any umbrella organization to begin to ascertain your empowerment through simple legal logistic maneuvers with your account. You ask them for their paperwork because they're managing your account. You ask them for their books. You stamp it, sign it, seal it, and send it back to them, all dressed up as an affidavit or an affidavit of truth. And there you go. You're now in a position where they can talk to you. Now, the reason we're stepping forward this particular season in 2013 is because this has actually been going on so many times in so many offices that a number of people within the system said, just somebody go out there and tell them how to do it, please. Somebody go out there and show them how to do it, please. So that's what we're out here for. We're out here to give you a hand. We're not the cure-all. We're not the end-all. We're not gurus. We're not psychics. We're not mystics. We're not channeling the great universe. We're simply explaining to you that as a self-aware adult with minimum effort, asking the right questions, will produce an environment where you will have entitlement back. And it's a little different from what's out there, but it essentially follows the same formula as everybody that's out there. The only difference is we're doing it as a political subdivision, so that means those who participate at this level have a greater area of safety and security of the person. You're not going to get demonized for this. This is the reason why we developed the political position as the body politics, so that when we engage, you don't get demonized. And that's the whole reason for taking this route. We found out other groups in front of us were getting too much difficulties because they were not being acknowledged as an umbrella organization. Peter, you must have a question at this point.
Actually, I was going to segue into, I'm just tired, brother. It's been a very, very long week, so I've been enjoying just sort of coasting. I like the direction of flow. They do, you got to divest yourself of the fiction for sure in the proper capacity. So I think once you separate that, I think that's a really good thing. Anyways, I'm going to just, I need to give a shout-out for my Saturday calls because I started a curriculum. And for everybody who is coming to Saturday's call, bring your pens and papers because if you haven't signed up for Privatist.me, you're not going to get this book. And this is called The Secret Banker's Manual, folks. And this is huge. And it breaks down exactly what they do, sort of how the banking system works. I was talking about this last week. So, folks, when you have the fundamental understanding of what's going on right up underneath your nose, that gives you a lot more capacity to operate in the proper capacity to start with. So it's going to be a beautiful book. It's called The Secret Banker's Manual, and it's going to be covering double money, debt collectors, credit card bookkeeping entries, two kinds of money, notices, what bankers fear. Folks, this is a free PDF that everybody will be able to get if they come in through the front door. If you don't come through the front door with your books and pencils, you're not going to get this PDF because it's posted over on Privatist.me. Deatra, my producer, has put out my icons everywhere, so whatever door you come in, you just got to find http Privatist.me. We're located on all fronts, all pages, so we're not hard to find. It's a free sign-up, and you'll get a plethora of other information that we cover, but you definitely want the curriculum because I got 6 more weeks or 7 more weeks to go through this curriculum, and if you're not picking up this PDF before the show starts Saturday, you're going to be like a rock concert rushing for the door, 10,000 people trying to get through. So just come on in. The water's fine, and go get your attachments because this will be posted tomorrow in the site. So everybody will be able to get a copy of The Secret Banker's Manual. Folks, when you read this, you're going to have an aneurysm. But it's going to get your mind right, so this is where I live. But I want to thank my brother for coming over and Sister Jade for coming in and doing a beautiful show because I really needed some coasting time, and you brought forth some really, really good stuff. And folks, this is the exposure we all need. This is opening up the doors, opening up all the boxes so that we can find out what's in them. So this is a very, very beautiful thing, and like I say, I'm very tired, and I appreciate these two coming forward. And I asked them last week, and they honor my request, and I feel like I'm really happy to have them here, and I hope you all learned something tonight. But I hope you all ready to come forward. And Brother Jaguar, if you feel, go ahead and feel free to, if you have a site or whatever that you could post, or probably post it in Creole Harmony, which is already posted from last week's call. And if she has this information posted over there for Brother Jaguar. Yes. Okay, very good. Then you'll all be able to come in.
Yeah, you guys can visit creoleharmony.blogspot.com. We're also going to be doing a presentation with Jaguar to run through the estate trust death certificate. So look for that. And also he gave you guys a couple of websites to visit for the Platinum Party ID card. And I will have that posted on creoleharmony.blogspot.com. Thank you so much, Peter and Jaguar, for having us on. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hey, have a great night, brother. I'll catch you on the rebound. And, folks, thank you for coming over to In the Spirit of Things. And like I say, if you haven't signed up for Privatist.me, you're not going to want to miss getting this PDF, this manual, The Secret Banker's Manual. This will be the most eye-blowing, mind-blowing, eye-opening information. I got a copy of this back some years ago. I followed this man. He's a top-notch CPA. They were scared to death of him, and he put together some information that really wasn't supposed to get out. So I'm going to share the love, but you got to go sign up for free so you can come into the lunchroom and get your books so you can eat at the buffet table come Saturday, because if you're not getting these PDFs, like what I posted on the birth certificate scam and my own birth certificate with all the attaching information and the overviews, you're going to be basically sitting in class not knowing, they went to calculus and they were just doing basic math last week. Well, folks, this is not going to be calculus. It's really simple, but I'm giving the direction of flow, and I'll give you something of sustenance that you can actually read, so something you can actually feel and touch. Read it for yourself, and it's only 75 pages, folks, but it's going to blow your mind. So I'm looking forward to, folks, if you can't find the privatist.me icon, I posted them. I had them posted everywhere, so it should be little or no issue. We only had 16 people come in last week, so I guess nobody really wants this curriculum. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I'll go another week or two, and I'll see how many come through the front door to get their books and papers. And if they don't come in, then I'll just chop the curriculum. We'll go do something else, because this apparently might not have any validity in your mind that you're not really looking for a learning experience to bring you forward to know how you're getting screwed. Anyways, with that being said, I love y'all. Y'all have a great night, and we'll catch you on the rebound next Saturday, this coming up Saturday night, and you're not going to want to miss getting this banker scam, this bank book. It is a secret banker's manual for bankers only, top secret banker's manual. So if you want to get a copy of it for free, I'll be glad to share the love. So we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye. If that's all right with you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Brother Peter and Sister Jade, we can definitely stay there.
Very good.
Everybody, I'm called Jaguar. A lot of people call me Jag. And the reason for that is in my position as principal of a foreign authority state government, by command of the committee, I've been given the post of Judge Absolute General in fact, and my main capacity is to oversee estate management. I know, very complex. But what does that mean to you? What that means to you is that the United States government has over $7 trillion sitting on open books, and it's your money. That's right. Every man, woman, and child in the United States of America has on the books, easy breezy, 1, 2, 3Z, $2,149 on an average per head at 4.5% interest that your state government owes you. The difficulty is your state government isn't really too quick on telling you what form to fill out. So the intention here tonight is to let you know, state by state, just how much you've got coming to you, and where does this come into? This comes into play where myself, in capacity as a judge, in capacity as the principal of a foreign authority state government, can, with the assistance of the American populace, go in and ask for those funds for you. So it works like this. The Platinum Party of Employers who think and act to increase awareness, I know, it's a really long name. Call us Platinum for short. The Platinum government, if we are to achieve 1,020 participants per state, and each participant was to go and ask for one piece of information, an oath or a bond or an insurance underwriter's name or a reinsurance underwriter's name, that will then give
Good evening and welcome to the Spirit of Things. This is Brother Peter coming at you. And before we get underway tonight, I just want to cover a couple things. But we have a couple special guests tonight, Sister Captain Jade and Brother Jaguar. But we'll get to them in just a minute. But I want just to cover, we'll be doing the curriculum. We'll be forwarding on come Saturday, and we'll actually be going over pretty much the banking system, because that's a fundamental that is probably pretty imperative and important for everybody to cover. However, just a little problem. I've invited everybody to the class and the curriculum, but they forgot to go pick up their books. So, folks, if you haven't picked up your books yet, it's going to require you to do a little heavy lifting. Actually, it's not a lot of heavy lifting. You just got to click on a button. Matter of fact, for those who came into the freedomreigns.us, if they're on the face page, there's a privatist.me icon, second to the bottom. Please go ahead and click on there now. The curriculum's posted on our face page, but you got to sign in first. So, folks, it's free. And so that you can follow for the next 8 weeks, so you're just not looking out into space. You'll actually have something of substance that you can follow along with, so it will give you a lot more clarity. I've posted these informations, matter of fact, so when you actually do sign in, it has the curriculum, 8-week curriculum on the home page, so you don't even have to go look for it. So you can step on in and get the attachments. If you missed the very first week with the attachments of the birth certificate bond and the birth securitization scam, 14 pages, PDF, as well as the call that's taped, then you can go back and collect that, because that will be the repository for all the week's curriculums for the next 8 weeks. So anybody who comes in at week 4, they'll have no problem with going backwards and attaching to all the documents and what was covered, so they can play a little catch up. Anyways, if you're coming through, folks, to www.freedomreigns.us, it's right on our page. We got the home
dollars. So that number on that screen can be multiplied by 4. Now let's look at the different states on the side, so we can quickly go through the numbers. There's just the idea is to get an idea, so your friends, your family, in different areas of the states, you know how much they're worth. Now, Peter and I were already doing this earlier. Just to let you know, the top game player is Alaska at $11,888, Tennessee at $719. So let's look at the spread here. First one on the charts is 2003, Alabama, $9 billion for that year at one level of the books, one level. So first paragraph, we don't have to see. He makes it easy. It's $9 billion and tells us that's $19.99 per head. Pretty simple. And you know that that number, if you went into this website and read it, will be multiplied by 4. So Alabama, $19.99.
Brother Jaguar, what was the name of that site again? Was that CAFR1, CAFR1.com with Walter Burien?
No, this is CAFRman.
Oh, CAFRman, CAFRMAN, as in okay, CAFR, folks. That's spelled CAF as in Frank, RMAN.com, and it'll bring you right into the website where he's getting these numbers from. So if you're not aware of that, that's the breakdown. It's called CAFRman.com. Correct, brother?
Absolutely correct. And the one thing I like about this site is he's made it very, very simple. Now, the fellow who put this site together is a man of extreme knowledge. Colonel Gerald Klatt has been trained by everybody in the government at all levels of accounting. When his numbers go up there, this is a guy who knows his numbers. So it's not an average mummy or daddy who put this together. This is a man who's been trained by the Military Comptroller Society. This is a man who's been trained by cost certificate analysis societies. He's a man who's been the top of his class in every accounting profession you can think of in North America. He's like the who's who in the numbers jungle. And if you can acquaint yourself to this website, it's the opportunity to walk into the state government and ask for your money. Now, I'm not working on the chat room here, so I don't have access to that. But if people from different states will identify what states they're in, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through a website called CAFRman.com. That's CAFRMAN.com. That's CAFRman.com. And this is where today's instruction is going to take us. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it simple. We're just going to take a look at the top numbers and know that number is about you. This is your money. And the professionals at the top level of talent have done all the hard, complex work. So simple economics, you don't have to do that. They've already done it. And our objective here is to provide an intention to show you it's not really that difficult to go and get the money when we partner up and perform allies. So as a registered political party out of British Columbia, Canada, that's registered in the United States of America as a foreign authority state government, we can ask on your behalf for you. And they will have a tendency to listen to us before they'll listen to you. So this is not about being at war. As Peter likes to say, it's share the love. Yes, the Canadians would like to introduce the Americans to share the love value, $7 trillion of surplus funds, and your name is there. So if we go to CAFRAMAN, we go to the front page, we will find out that in 2003, it tells us the state governments had over $612 billion of your tax money they're not using. And that's where we get the numbers, $2,149 for every man, woman, and child at 4.5 interest. That's the first set of numbers. And just remember, this multiplies by 4. Your state government owes you $2,149. Your county government owes you $2,149. Your federal government owes you $2,149, and your regional government owe you $2,149.
Homepage, it's got all the icons, and second from the bottom it says privatist.me. If you'll click on that, it will actually open the homepage, and you'll have a blue highlighted icon, and then you can click on that, and it's going to let you through the front door. So, folks, I'm not going to believe that. I hope everybody comes to class next week and has their books and pencils for Saturday about the banking system. We're going to go into a deeper level on the curriculum. So, folks, it's not complex. It's actually pretty simple, and that's why I created the bouncing ball. Anyways, enough of that. I have two special guests tonight, Brother Jaguar and Sister Jade, and two very, very sharp and astute individuals who understand what's going on within the system. So I wanted to bring sort of the nickel tour tonight to everybody. So this is going to be a very, very informal but informative information overview. And do I have Brother Jaguar and Sister Jade on the phone?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Peter.
I am absolutely here.
Very good. Well, hey, you know what? I'm just going to wind you. Go ahead.
I just want to say that last week I missaid something, and it should be the refunding bond for the Agriculture Department in case you do come and claim your estate.
Right.
The insurance policy, the refunding bond that they have, will indemnify the investors in case you come looking for your estate. So that's called a refunding bond. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for giving us clarity. And I got Brother Jaguar. I'm going to let Brother Jaguar wind it up, and we're going to move into a new direction a little bit. It's Tuesday, and Tuesdays, anything goes Tuesday. I like it. And so, folks, we're going to take a little walk down a new deal. They got all your money. If you're looking for your $7 trillion refund, we just might be able to give you some direction of flow in reference to that. And Brother Jaguar is going to share some great information, and I'm just going to sort of sit back and listen because I'm getting educated too here tonight. So, Brother Jaguar, I'm going to give you the floor, literally, and I want you to sort of give everybody the nickel tour and try and break it down to as easy terms for our audience as possible.